Hi there, let's take a ride in a big airplane for a long way. The big airplane is the Airbus A330 Model 200 for Virgin Atlantic here, as expressed by JAR. This is the JAR Airbus A330. This particular one has a lovely decal on the side of the fuselage here. Picture of Lady Stardust flying off to what looks like England, because she's carrying a British flag, UK flag. So let's do what she's doing. Let's go to England. Let's go to EGLL, which is Heathrow. In order to do that, we first have to load the aircraft. So I'm going to tap my G key here, and that brings up a panel, which JAR calls a widget. We can expand it so that we can grab some of these things. This is going to be the ground generator. This is a catering truck. Here's a, whoops. Here is another catering truck, and in the between there is a pallet loader. This is our fuel truck. Another pallet loader. It doesn't want to go where your mouse is. It's very strange. This guy in here is a cargo, or rather a baggage loader, and another catering truck. That's about all we need. So when we click drive up, they suddenly appear. Or at least they appear behind the aircraft, and it takes them a while to drive up to the fuselage itself. The ground power unit is plugged in and running. And when they do finally arrive, you'll see that they actually open the doors of the cargo areas and the side door of the aircraft so that they can load. It's really quite an operation. There's the pallet loader, and in a minute you'll see a pallet there turning around and being located into the fuselage of this rather large aircraft. So we'll go inside. Looks like the batteries are already on. I'm not sure quite why that is, but we'll let it be. We can click on the power, rather the ground power unit. That cranks up the noisy air conditioners. Just make some adjustments in our temperature. Beacon lights, nav and logo lights can go on. Compass, control, overhead dome light. This guy here, the annuator light, doesn't seem to function in this JAR version of the aircraft. And by putting that switch in the middle, we'll arm the emergency lights in the middle of the aisle. And then we can go up here and just rotate these dials one click up to the nav position to align the ADIRs. All right, we'll get rid of this red nonsense in a minute. First we have to come down here and make some further lighting adjustments. Floodlights, integrated light, and another floodlight on the pedestal. Turn on the transponder to auto, turn it on, and we can switch it to TA mode, which allows us to communicate with the tower during our taxi run. From here, we can go into the MCDU, and the first thing we're going to do is tap this menu button. We'll go to doors and open up the left side entrance door, which allows our passengers to get on board. And then we go into the menu again, and pick settings, and I'm going to turn off everything but right click. Particularly, I'm going to turn off this FPS message nonsense that JAR insists on sticking in your nose every time you start the program. So while the plane is loading, we'll go to init. Now we've got a flight already established, and that flight is KJFK-EGLL. We'll load that. It's the company route. Just load that here. It lists all of the waypoints, and then we'll insert it. here we can align the IRS. The flight number is Virgin, VIR. Number 4. Cost index is going to be 30. And our altitude, cruising altitude, is going to be 370. It's all set. We can now go to the fuel loading page, tap on the right one key, and it automatically fills out the proper weight for the aircraft. And I'm going to do, I know that the fuel load for this flight is going to be 46,000 kilograms. So I'm going to just increase our pre-selected amount. You have to do it one click at a time. 5, 6, oops, down 1. So that's set. Now we can load it. And that's responding to the block setting, but we're going to change that by pressing the block setting, and that now reads 46, which gives us extra fuel of 6 tons on our arrival, and some extra time. From here we can go to the flight plan. We have our flight plan installed. I'm going to get rid of that discontinuity by selecting the Merit 6 departure, and also we have to assign our departure runway, and that's going to be for right or left. I can't remember. Let me just check over to our chart here, and it looks like it's going to be 4 left. That's what I thought it was. Just wanted to be sure. So 4 left is our departure runway, and we're using Merit 6 with Putnam as a transition point. Enter that into the plan, and hopefully we can get it to fly to Merit. I've had some difficulties with previous attempts at doing this, where it keeps telling the FMC to fly to JFK, and it doesn't want to put Merit in as the first waypoint. Hopefully we'll see if we can figure out a way out of that problem. We'll now go to EGLL and go to arrival. Our arrival runway in London is going to be 27 right, and the star is going to be night or something, NIGI 1H, and no transition for that. So enter that in the flight plan and insert it. Now, I know from experience, if we just leave it that way, we're going to have a bit of a problem in London, and I'll show you why. Let me just go up here and we'll flip over our chart to plan mode so we can see the whole thing in operation. And we can scroll through it by using these 2 arrow keys. Here's Merit, Hartford, Putnam, Boston, and on out the coast and across the Atlantic. And there's our top descent. And now we're entering into London airspace. And there, you see this strange errant waypoint stuck way out there. I'm really not sure quite what that's about, but we can get rid of it pretty easily just by going in here and scrolling down to CR63 and hitting clear and tapping that. So that erases that. Now before we say insert, yeah, there's a discontinuity. We can get rid of that as well. And now we can insert it. And if we take another look, you can see that route is now cleaned up, and our approach into 27 right is much better. Last part of the process here is to go to the performance page. Almost the last part. We just tap on these 3 keys on this side. V1, V2, VR, and V2 is our nominal takeoff speed, our rotation speed. Transition altitude is preset at 18,000. We can tap on thrust reduction and that will adjust itself automatically. And same thing with flaps and trim is what that means. It's adjusting our trim automatically. You can see the wheels turning. And the engine out, we can tap that as well. All done for you by the people at JAR. Now we can say F60 for our flex temperature. Enter that. And the last thing we need to do is just go over to the nav radio page. And that's interesting. It indicates a ILS frequency, but it's not the right one. So what we need to do is jump over here to a new app that I've got. This is the Navigraph Charts app, which I recently acquired by subscribing to Navigraph Charts. Not sure I'm going to stay that way, but let's see. And if we go, let's see, we wanted, what were we looking at here? Oh, the frequency of our runway. So if we go to EGLL and we say open charts list, and then we go to approach, it shows us our various runways. And if we pick ILS DME 27 right and tap it, you'll get one of Navigraph's 3,600 Jepson charts that comes with this subscription. I don't think I need that many charts, but they're there if you need. In this case, it's ILS runway 27 right indicates our frequency is 110.3. Final approach course is 270. And you'll notice while we're looking at this that the transition altitude is 6,000 feet, not 18,000 as in the United States. So we'll keep that in mind as we approach. 110.30, 270. So 10.30 goes in there, and 270 can go in there. And then we might just check down here by turning on the radio and going to ILS nav mode. 110.30 is selected. That's correct. So we're copacetic there. Last thing we can do here is turn on our little gadget, which tells us that the barometric pressure here at JFK is 2984. Come up here, we can switch from QNH over to inches mercury. 2984. Why doesn't that cursor want to change? There we go. Okay. I'm going to rotate this back up to arc mode. 156 was our takeoff speed. Tap that, scroll that down to 156. There we go. Right click, stop from doing that. Oops, did it again. Okay. And the last thing is to indicate our cruising altitude of 37,000. Like so. Okay, now that the passengers have boarded, we can go back to the MCDU and shut that door. And then we could almost call up the ground handling, but before we do that, we need to jump up here, help people to fasten their seat belts. We turn on the fuel pumps, and then launch the APU. That takes just a couple minutes to activate. You can monitor that by coming down here, taking a look at APU. We've got some reflections going on here. There it goes. So now we can turn on the APU bleed. Might as well turn on the probe window heat while we're at it. And we can turn off the ground generator. Now that we've done that, we can call up our handy widget again and just say drive away. And most of the stuff will start pulling away. We may want to check the doors a little later, make sure all the doors got sealed, but for the time being, that's okay. We can call up our handy pusher, and we've got a route established for pushing the aircraft. And actually, I think what I'm going to do is change that and move it to right here. Let's pick that, see if that's going to work.
All right, Captain, got the directions. Let me know through the menu when you're ready.
I'll do that.
Great news, Captain. Your tow's coming.
Good. While he's coming, I'm just going to check something here. We've got radar, and here's our runway 4 left. There's nothing coming in or going out on 4 left at the moment, but we'll check that from time to time. And the last thing we want to do here is just make sure all this stuff is departed from the scene. You can see doors look like they're closed. The last thing is the ground power unit. But, before we get rid of him, I just want to make sure that those doors are indeed closed. We still have a loader back here that we've got to get rid of.
All right. Looks like the doors and hatches are closed and we're ready to connect.
Well, that may not be quite the case just yet. All right, so he's now gone. You should see this hatch close back here. Yeah, didn't seem to do that, did it? So the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of that ground generator. And the way we'll do all of that is just to come up here on this panel and say hide all. That gets rid of all that stuff. Now I'll just take another look at that gate. Yeah, it's still open. So we need to go into the MCDU and click all of these guys.
Welcome aboard,
Make
Captain.
them green.
Tow's connected, bypass pins inserted.
Now let's
Go
take
till the
another
parking
look.
break when you're ready to go.
Yeah, that looks much better. And that's closing up. Good. That's what we want to accomplish. Otherwise, you'll get the first officer barking at you and telling you that the doors aren't closed. So he's all set. We can release the park brake
off.
Here comes the pushback. Light them up.
All right. To do that, we need to come down here. We've got our pumps turned on.
Starting engine 2.
Wait a second. Do things first. First, we switch the on switch.
Starting engine 2.
All right, now we'll take a look at the lower ND again. Wheels are spinning, dials are turning. Starting to get some action down here. I want to wait until the N2 is above 10%, maybe 12 or so. And we can come down here and crank on number 1.
Starting engine 1.
Not sure why all this action is going on here. That's a bit of a bug. While that's getting cranked up, we can go ahead and arm the spoilers.
Spoilers armed.
And we can lower our flaps to the number 1 position.
Flaps 1.
And we can tap on max brakes. And that gives us clearance on our list here. Takeoff inhibit. Not sure exactly why that's there, but I think that'll go away. We've gotten a clearance on the lower ND, so we can come back down here and turn off the switch to the normal position. And go up here now that we've got engine power. We can turn off the master bleed and the APU. The airplane is now being powered by the engines, not by the APU. Just checking everything here. It all seems fine. We don't have to do anything with the packs or with the bleed right now. It's all done automatically on this version A330. Okay, we've got clearance from our pusher. And let's just go up here and turn on the taxi light. Just a taxi. And we'll be underway. That may take
Park brake off.
a little while to accomplish, so I'll bring you back when we're lined up and ready to go. Up here and stop. First thing we can do is turn on the
Park
put on
brake
the
on.
brake so we don't go creaking forward. Turn on the runway turn-off lights, landing lights. Taxi lights can go up to normal. We can go ahead and turn off the APU. Got signs on, cabin checks done, spoilers, arm, flaps on takeoff mode, flaps 1. Auto brake set to max, takeoff config is normal. Check, check, check. And we have our heading set to 55 degrees. It's not turned on, we're not indicating locator just yet. It's just set that way. We've got our speed set to 156. I'm going to raise that to 200 after takeoff. So we should be good to go. Last thing I'm going to do is just check the radar. And there's not much in our vicinity. So that looks good too. Let's let the
Park brake off.
go.
Rotate. Positive climb. Gear up.
Good. First thing I'm going to do is fill the lights. And we'll ramp this up to 200 or so. Go ahead and put it on autopilot.
Autopilot 1, cross-check. Spoilers disarm.
There we go. And we're en route to Merritt. So my concern is about switching that, or adding that star, that SID, I should say, into the FMC. That seems to have been resolved. And we are now on our way to London. Through the fog. big Rolls-Royce engine out there. Nicely painted. So that's it. I will let you settle down, read a book, see a movie, go to sleep, whatever you like to do on trips across the ocean. We've got about 6 hours to go. I'll wake you up in time so you can see all the action as we approach Heathrow. Sometime around 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Having just passed Nigit, 10,000 feet at LLW03, and a speed reduction down to 250 knots. We'll keep an eye on that. Okay, making our turn, we'll go ahead and put on the LS button, which arms the ILS system.
Flaps 2.
And we've got a pretty good indication of locator and glide slope. So I'll go ahead and turn the system on and arm it. We have acquired locator, and we are about to acquire glide slope. Come through a cloud.
Flaps 3. Spoilers retracted. Spoilers armed.
And there's our glide slope, so we'll go ahead and put on approach
Autopilot
2.
2. Cross-check.
And now we can go ahead and turn on the runway turn-off lights.
Radio altimeter alive.
Back here. Keep an eye out. We should see PAPI lights. There we are. We are now under guidance of the ILS system. And we'll go ahead and put the gear down.
Gear down.
Gear deployed. Just prior to touchdown, pull back on the throttles. That'll disable the auto throttle system.
27 right.
Flaps full.
Not sure where I got landing inhibit
500.
from there, but so far so good. A little bit of rain maybe.
400. 300. 200. 100 above. 100. 50. 40. 30. Minimum. 10. 5.
Ground spoilers. Reverse green.
Above. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard.
Is that applause I hear? Alrighty, I'm gonna pull up the next exit up here. Now this has an autogate sign, and it will tell us where we're supposed to park, but I don't think you'll see the autogate function. Lights go on. All right, let's put her right there. Come up here, turn on the APU. Lights can go off, seat belts can go off. And you can jump down here and open up some doors. Side, cargo, bulk, cargo B, cargo F. We can open those up so guys can unload some bags. First thing we can do is turn the engines off. Shut those down. Doors open but no gate. So that's the story. we'll have to let people just jump off and find their way into the terminal, unfortunately, but that's the way it is here in the jolly old England. Thank you for joining me on that. That was a nice flight. Finally got everything to work on this thing. It was quite a battle getting it to follow the route properly on takeoff, to acquire the route and to get the autopilot system to latch onto the route properly. But after a lot of trial and error, we got it to work. Thanks again for joining me. If you have any thoughts, questions, comments, criticisms, ideas, notions, instructions, or anything, by all means put it in the comments below. Slap on that subscribe button if you like this video. The more the merrier. We've got quite a number of very nice people subscribing to this now, and I hope they enjoy it. And I look forward to doing more of them as time and aircraft permit. Okay, thanks a lot. This is Steve, your desk-bound aviator, not desktop. That's somebody else. I'm your desk-bound aviator. I'm bound to my desk. See you soon.